So, before we begin, as per the tradition, I would like to request our chief guest, sir, the director, our deputy director, Umarani ma'am, and Professor Fernandez, to light the lamp.
One second. Hello. ಒಂದೇ ನಿಮಿಷ ನಾನು ತೆಗೆದು ಹೊಂಟೆ
Okay, now I would like to invite our director, CIR, Professor Shailendra Mohan, to deliver the welcome address and the opening remarks.
Thank you. Yellow को नमस्कार नमस्कार आदरणीय प्रोफेसर गिरीश नाथ झा जी चेयरमैन काउंसिल फॉर साइंटिफिक एंड टेक्निकल टेक्नोलॉजी इन न्यू दिल्ली मैडम नीता प्रसाद जी जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कर्नल युवराज मलिक डायरेक्टर नेशनल बुक ट्रस्ट Professor Umarani Kutuswamy, Dr. Fernandez, Rosario Fernandez, my colleagues at the Central Institute of Indian Languages, friends from media, my esteemed colleagues from CI, ladies and gentlemen, आप सभी को 56वें स्थापना दिवस के शुभ अवसर पर मेरी ओर से और संस्थान की ओर से हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। I am indeed very happy that we are going to celebrate the 56th Foundation Day of Institute of Indian Languages, established on 17th July 1969 as an apex body of language matters in India. In the last 55 years of its establishment, the Institute has sustained its focus, maintained its relevance, expanded its outreach, and dedicated its service to the nation and its languages. It is a remarkable feat for an organization. We pay our grateful thanks to those who have entirely worked hard to make the institution great and honor those who contribute to its greatness. For the last 55 years, the Institute has been setting new trends for language analysis and language teaching, and also contributing towards the emotional integration of languages in India. Now, it's also a time to look back, assess, and evaluate our achievements and contributions, identify the shortcomings and gaps, and come up with new strategies for realigning and reprioritizing our goals, objectives, policies towards the betterment of the field. For this, especially in the context of generative AI and others, we welcome you in the new world of developing the Indian languages in future. So once again, I welcome you all to this. it is time to welcome Professor Girish Nath Jha, a chief guest from CSTT, and I would request you all to give a big round of applause and welcome him to this Foundation Day celebration to let us know about the challenges that we all are going to face with the coming of generative AI and how the languages can cope up with these kind of challenges in future and how we can make use of generative AI in such a way that our languages fulfill our objectives of giving emotional integration of India. Alright. I also welcome Madam Nisha Prasad. Kindly round of applause. And I'm pleased with you. He accepted our invitation to be part of this 56th Foundation Day. Welcome, ma'am, to this 56th year of our celebration of Central Institute of Indian Languages. Now, I'll also request Colonel Yuvraj Malik ji, who has been working tirelessly in the promotion of book promotions through NBT. We'd like to learn from him that how we can move ahead in this new world order, in which how the books can be placed to each and every individual in the society. What are the best ways? And he will be giving us an understanding of how the books can be sent to all, as well as the production part and others in such a way that in the new world we would like to come and to understand the future of the book policies and promotion system. So once again, on this 56th Foundation Day, I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And we have a slight change in our schedule. We request first our Joint Secretary, Madam Nita Prasad ji, to deliver her speech. Thank you very much. Once again, आप सभी को स्थापना दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। धन्यवाद।
Sir, launching, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome address. Now, it gives commemorate a special day. CIL today is proud to present its new bookstore portal. I would like to request Dr. Narayan Chowdhury to brief us a little bit about the bookstore portal.
Thank you. Sir, Madam, we are happy to announce that the CI has publication unit and we have been publishing books since the beginning of our days. And we have more than 1,300 titles in our kitty. So we are now online sale portal of the institute, which we want to release today. On the hands of our Joint Secretary, Madam Nita Prasad, I just give you a brief about the different the features that we have for this. You are aware, I have also shared these features of this application, but I will also brief here for the people here. So it is a fully automated online sales system, and it contains all the titles that we have at CIL in stock. I mean, not the things that are not in stock, that is not there. So I present the host 497 titles. It also has an automated shipping thing. So just like Amazon, you can place the order, make a payment, and sitting there. You can also choose your shipping partner. Actually, there are so many courier services, you can choose any one of them, because there is an idea that lets you choose all those. So that would be there. payment is also done online through all the mechanisms, internet banking, PR, credit card, good option you have that is available. One best thing about it is that the stock of all the books that we have, it gets maintained automatically. You do not need to make a manual register of that now. Once you have uploaded how many books you have for any title, this gets updated here. And you can earn stuff. Suppose someone comes here and books purchases one book over the counter by paying cash. That mechanism is also implemented here itself, so that online payment, online purchase and offline purchase both are put up together, and the stock is maintained as we go. Yes, so these are the main features of it. Now I would request Madam Neeta ji to please inaugurate this.
Thank you, Narayan ji. I'm happy to inaugurate this. I mean, this online bookstore, and wish it the very best in the coming times. I am sure you have in place a good program to disseminate information about this bookstore, market it properly, and have a good system for customer support. I mean, like from the domain of language, you need to step into the domain of marketing for the successful future of this bookstore. And I'm sure you've made perfect plans for this. So wish the bookstore the very best.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir, for having me. I wish the bookstore success. Next, moving on to the next part of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Education, New Delhi, Srimati Neeta Prasad ma'am, to deliver the presidential remarks.
Thank you. Professor Shailendra Mohan ji, Director of CIIL, Girishnath Jha ji, Chairman CSTT, all the dignitaries and the professors, staff and academicians gathered today on this occasion of the 56th Foundation Day of CIIL. आप सबों को मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। आज मुझे आप सबके साथ वहां होना चाहिए था, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली बहुत सारी कुछ ऐसी व्यस्तता आ गई और कुछ ऐसे प्रायर कमिटमेंट्स आ गए जिसकी वजह से दिस वाज नॉट पॉसिबल, बट आई एम देयर इन स्पिरिट विथ यू। CIIL ने पिछले 56 years से इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस के प्रमोशन के लिए, स्पेशली शिक्षा जगत में इसके प्रमोशन के लिए, it has worked in tandem with so many organizations, state governments के साथ, अपने central government के organizations के साथ. It has done a lot of contribution, very significant contribution for promoting Indian languages in education. Times have changed. Technology has changed. We are embarking on a future that is very, very different from what it was 20 years back. And if we go by, the changes that are coming in today, maybe 20 years from now, we may not be able to recognize the workspace as anything similar to what we have today. So CIIL has risen to the past challenges, and I'm sure it will rise to the challenges that are before us today and prepare the nation in using Indian languages to further its interests, to further the future of our students and take us towards the dream of our Prime Minister, Honorable Narendra Modi ji, to attain a Viksit Bharat, where everybody is able to contribute to the nation building process. So national education policy में जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं, भारतीय भाषाओं के ऊपर बहुत जोर दिया गया है. भारतीय भाषाओं के माध्यम से स्कूलों में पढ़ाई हो एटलीस्ट क्लास 5 तक, और जहां तक हो सके क्लास 8 तक. हायर एजुकेशन में भी भारतीय भाषाओं का उपयोग हो जहां तक संभव हो, एटलीस्ट एज अ सपोर्ट टू स्टूडेंट्स. क्योंकि ऐसा देखा गया है, एक तो इट इज अ नोन फैक्ट कि किसी भी कॉन्सेप्ट का की अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज बेस्ट इन द मदर टंग. एंड ऑल्सो वी फाइंड कि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स जिन्होंने भारतीय भाषाओं में शुरू में पढ़ाई की है, उनके लिए टू स्विच ओवर टू इंग्लिश as the medium of instruction, sometimes it's a big, very daunting thing. So just to help them cross over this hurdle, we are working, as you all know, because we are working in association with all the academic and language institutions, we are working to provide that support to our students and to our faculty. The language should not be a hurdle to any academic attainment, any skill attainment. So in this process, in this endeavor, CIIL has a very, very big role to play as the nodal agency that produces study material, that and teaching material, as the institution that trains people, that sets standards for the languages that are the material and the language methodology that has been brought in, as the nodal agency for translation and interpretation that we are envisaging to build up in the country. It's the nodal language agency that advises the whole country. So it has played a major role in the past, and this role is going to become even more significant in the years to come. इसी वजह से the government is looking at giving more autonomy to CIIL. इनके financial administrative जो rules हैं उनको हम ऐसे change करना चाह रहे हैं कि इनको और बल मिले. आपके पास बहुत staff की कमी है, कई बार funds होते हुए भी because of the procedures use नहीं हो पाता है. We are aware of all those problems, and we are working to kind of address these problems in the best possible way. Things have started. I can commit only to take it forward in a positive way and hope for the best. But I can assure you that government is committed to making CIIL stronger, because language is a major agenda for this government. Language and attainment of knowledge for every student in the country, for every youth in the country, making knowledge accessible to everyone, it is a major priority for us. We want to equip us and empower our youth to be able to face the challenges of the upcoming years. And for that, we have to teach them properly. We have to make knowledge accessible to them in whatever language they are comfortable with. So in that context, CIIL has a major role to play. You would be aware, Abhi, yesterday there was a big workshop in which CIIL was also there for producing study material in Indian languages, in 22 Indian languages. So that is a big project that we are working on. Then there is a project on Bahubhashiya Shabdakosh. That again, as you know, there are many institutions in the country who are making dictionaries. CSTT, Grishnath Jha ji is present here. This is they are the institution who make who are the leaders in making dictionaries on scientific terminology. Then there are others. So but all the dictionaries are scattered across various platforms. Grishnath Jha ji has made a lot of effort in bringing them on one platform, but we need to take that effort even further ahead. So CIIL would be undertaking that project to integrate everything on one platform so that we can facilitate more of our machine translation also. So that by creating a very rich repository of vocabulary with us. So this is another project that CIIL would be undertaking. Then there is the project for creating an ecosystem for Bharatiya Bhashas. By ecosystem, I mean we have every facility in place for real-time translation and interpretation of the various documents that are generated in the country in at least the 22 languages, if not, and if possible, in more languages. So, in fact, NEP 2020 has recommended that there should be an institution for translation and interpretation. So, we have decided not to have a separate institution because CIIL is already there, but CIIL would again be strengthened as a center for translation and interpretation in the country. So there are a lot of new roles that we see for CIIL in the coming years, and also we see the old objectives taking on a new form, evolving to new dimensions, because technology is something which has become a big facilitator today. And with the use of technology, we see the entire approach to language teaching, learning, resource creation, dissemination, everything we see that changing. So CIIL would be at the helm of all this change, and CIIL would be taking along all the other language institutions in the country, taking them to newer heights. So I wish CIIL all the success in the coming years, and also I commit the government's support to CIIL for making it stronger, for making it more autonomous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for praising our program with your wisdom and with your words of motivation. Next, we come to the most important part of the function. We would like to invite our chief guest, Professor Veena Jha, to deliver his lecture. Before we invite our chief guest to take the podium, I would like to read a brief introduction about Professor Jha. Professor Girinath Jha is currently the chairman of the Commission for Scientific and Technical Terminology, Ministry of Education, Government of India. He is a professor of computational linguistics at the JNU University at the School of Sanskrit and Indic Studies. He is also a concurrent faculty at the School of Engineering, Center of Linguistics, and at the Special Center of E-Learning in JNU. It gives us an immense pleasure to invite Professor Jha, the chief guest of today's program, to deliver a lecture on recent trends in natural language processing in the context of large language models. Sir.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you, Gary, for the lovely introduction.
Yes.
Share screen. Thank you, Mike.
You might have seen.
Thank you, all for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here on the occasion of the 56th Foundation's Day celebration. Thanks to our director and the deputy director and other officials of CIIL. Was reluctant to come because of the distance from Bangalore to Mysore. It's always not very comfortable coming here. I used to come here when there was a Kingfisher flight, so then I stopped coming. So connecting mostly online. But I'm very happy to meet all of you after a long time. And CIIL is under able hands. We're doing a good job, a great job. Neetaji, I heard you for the first time. You speak well. Good. We'll be in touch. Right. So, when are you coming to CSTT, by the way?
Left, I think left. No, just left from.
He just left.
Well, I'll communicate to her. So, top job done by by CIIL over the last 56 years, and you have been able to be a leader in the southern part of India as a central institute and in teaching of the languages, promoting even the unscheduled languages. I was part of the Bharatwani initiative here, the committee and in the LGCIL committee. And so a lot of good work, a lot of good team we have collected here. I'm very happy to see people working very hard. The NTL, the LGCIL, the technology that's demonstrated by Narayanji. So everything going great guns here. So I'm very happy, and I hope the very best for future. I'm sure you'll be doing much better. And if you're able to shift your center to Bangalore, even better. Okay. So there's a slight change in the topic I had suggested earlier. I see something about large language models. So big linguistic data, we have heard about big data. So modifying that phrase as big linguistic data. This AI is going to be language, and more language in India. Everywhere essentially. And linguistics is going to be much more stronger discipline than even mathematics. I remember when I was doing a course on linguistics, mathematical linguistics at UIUC, it was actually a lot of semantics in it. A lot of semantics goes everywhere. When I send my students for team training in machine learning to Zurich University, they come back telling me that they're doing more of semantics. So semantics is going to become big way, pragmatics, into source analysis, and what you do basically. More of linguistics will be in the competition with the major disciplines. And AI and Gen AI and LLMs will be basically linguistic analysis more and more. So big linguistic data, languages and large language models in India. This is what I'm going to talk about. So you all are aware of the kinds of data that we have, and LGCIL is doing a great job in collecting unimodal, bimodal, and multimodal data. I remember being part of a Motorola initiative at UIUC, the Kogsai Research Lab, where we were trying to come up with a navigation system for automobiles. And they needed data from different ethnicities across the globe, and genders and educational backgrounds, etc., etc. when they speak, how they gesture. So we were given a text to read on the screen, and we would read the text fluently, of course, our Indian accents, and then we would gesture while speaking, right? So those gestures were recorded and tried to bootstrap the coordination between the two gesture and your speech. All of that is actually going to be very, very important tomorrow. The machines are going to mimic your behavior. They are dangerously coming very close, And you have to be careful about that. They should not come exactly as close as you are. So linguistics becomes a foundational discipline, and the newer areas, I call them newer areas, the new avatars. So psycholinguistics, 18th century, 19th century, linguistics. All of them are actually coming in their new avatars, and you can imagine application of neurolinguistics on diagnosis and a lot of other things. For example, can you predict if you get a picture of an affected child, affected child, behaviorally affected child, can the machine detect that this is an affected child by looking at the child, as we do? So all of that will be, things will be coming closer, disciplines will be coming closer, and we'll be trying to predict very, very important things. And of course, computational linguistics has been there and will be there. And forensic linguistics, clinical linguistics, pathology, translation studies, of course, certainly language preservation, documentation, evolution, such studies, all of that were there, all of those were there, and now they will be there in New York talks. The statistical linguistics have changed dramatically. When I was doing a course with Jerry Morgan, Linguistics 301 at UAUC, so he would not call it computational linguistics, he would call it just linguistics, no term as computational linguistics, it's only linguistics. There we did the basic stat, a basic course in stat, so compulsory in core linguistics. But most departments here of linguistics don't include statistics, right, or mathematics as part of core linguistics. You will certainly do some modeling in phonology or syntactic distribution or prediction of order of categories and sentences, but not really core math and core stat. Recently, I was looking at core syllabus for some university, a linguistics department in Assam, and Deshpur University. And there actually I proposed including these basic courses in semester 1. So India connection is all rather too well known. I'm not going to spend more time on it. How much time do I have, sir? 45 minutes. 45 minutes. 45 minutes from now. I'm not cheating, right? Good. So India's traditional strength, what I mean traditional strength in languages, 4 out of 6 Vedangas were linguistic science. And those were what? Etymology, phonetics, grammar, Chanda, matrix. 6 Vedangas you have to know to understand Vedas. Language was changing at a frantic speed. Words were becoming obsolete. So you needed 4 sciences, linguistic science, to make sense of the Vedas. Vyakarana, grammar, phonetics, speech, because this was oral tradition, and etymology, how words change meaning, and even metrics, because these were composed metrically. Multilingual India needs more careful linguistic planning, and she has done a great job there. And most important of the Indian knowledge were linguistic sciences. And my most favorite discipline of the linguistic sciences area is phonetics. There are more than 100 texts of phonetics still waiting to be deciphered, to be edited, and to be published. My students have done at least 10 texts. They were edited and translated because one was found in Humble Library in good shape. Other was found in Pakistan, Lahore Library, and some were found in Bangladesh, and some were found in India in good shape. The most that you find in India, they are not in good shape. They are dilapidated and almost pathetic situation. And National Master Mission is no exception. Therefore, there's a lot that depends on AI today. See, reconstruction of dilapidated manuscripts, Bhagna, Pandulipia, reconstructed, and and if there's a Bhagna communication, partial communication, and partial communication could be even Twitter communications. How can we reconstruct, rebuild them, reprocess them? All of that will be very, very interesting. If you have a manuscript where where things start in Devanagari, suddenly you have a Bangla innovation in the manuscript, suddenly you have a Pushpika, you have a Swastika, all of that. You have some other script in it. For example, I have a manuscript in my family where there is everything in Mithalakshara, and suddenly you have a Bengali song, you have a Maithili song, you have a receipt of the Jamindar there, and a lot of it. So Sanskrit, suddenly Bangla, suddenly Maithili, all of that. So multilingual data, multi-scriptal data, all of that will be interesting. And a lot of the characters are not scripted. So now that you are doing that script grammar, please consider these things are not script. Pushpika could be there, Swastika could be there. Because all of that will be part of the script. We are made of big data, and in India we talk about big linguistic data, certainly. And the data science will be basically doing these 5 things. If you do a big course in data science, capturing data will be very important. Capturing data from legacy sources. For example, we have some dictionaries this year stating in handwritten document. How do we capture handwritten document? We ask some typists to type it. That's the turnkey method. Last resort. You ask people to type it. So can you capture the handwritten data automatically? That will be a challenge. And there will be many people writing on the slips. And they will be editing marks, all of that, and you have to capture that. Supreme Court has released 50 years of data. And a lot of that data is actually on the physical media. How do you capture that? A lot of that data would be English, language, so a lot of that nuances would be there. And if you capture that, how do you store it? Storing it again. Storing a representation. Unicode, other code, mixed code, and then and efficiency of the script and represent, all of that will be important. And database representation, whether you store it in RDBMS or XML, all of that. Analysis, then after you have stored data and also have added on a tier of annotation. The resource will be multi-tier. You can have a base tier of annotation, then add on, if you go along. And then if you get the last tier added to the data, how do you use visualization tools to actually do analysis and visualization of the data? And after that, training the system and all of that will be part of the data sciences. And I hope some of it should be part of the linguistic courses in India to make sure it's more employable. Right? Now, the data is huge, valuable, and gets created on the fly as we speak. Data is being created, and if that data is captured automatically, with of course permission of these people to store somewhere, it will be generated a lot of data in India because people speak on mobile phones, feature phones. So there's this app made for feature phone which captures data and it's bootstrapped with a SQL converter and on a crawler. That would be a great thing to do. I've given this advice to one of the startup people who came to me for ideas. They said, why did they do this? And this would be a good idea. We need smart algorithms and easier access mechanisms and platforms. I'll be talking about this a little bit later. Database techniques are constantly evolving. There'll be much more happening in database. I remember when we were mapping Java. We were doing Java as my state software engineer in America, and the database was on ODBC platform, the object-oriented Microsoft platform. Java is non-Microsoft platform. So how do you communicate Java to a Microsoft platform when there's no support for Java and Microsoft? So you have a bridge, ODBC to JDBC. Java database connectivity, and there's Microsoft connectivity, and you do a bridging between the two. And in the bridging, the Unicode will be lost because they'll be translated several times, right? So all of that has to be taken into consideration when you basically deploy platforms and you make a choice of the platforms. All of that will be very, very important. Literacy data is becoming very, very chaotic. More chaotic in the multilingual countries like India and Africa, Indonesia, of course, and then in the European countries, which are progressively monolingual. And from scan to confused, earlier data was mostly English and European language, and now data is coming more from the other side of the world. From monolingual to multilingual and mixed data, from normal to crazy. The word like Crazy Kia, the song, Crazy Kia, have you heard that? Crazy Kia is a word now in Hindi, Crazy Kia. Right? And I heard a word, love story. So we are adding Hindi successes in English words. and making them in progressive like that. And many such crazy usages have been heard. I'm calling them crazy for language processing, not really. I'm not passing judgment on that. Some examples of big data are actually used for training large language models. And there are, by the way, 400,000 plus large language models already available, trained. One approximation was approximately 450,000 LLMs are still available. So we may need one for education, for administration, judicial documents, newspapers and print media, literatures. Why do we need separate LLMs? Because it would be more efficient. Film, television, Facebook, social media, and heritage, of course, and other languages and historical documents. We have had historical documents from Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, from the Arabs and Persians, and from English and Portuguese, etc., French, all of them. So complex data, we need complex algorithms. I call them robust algorithms, robust technologies. An example of robust technology would be that to a feature phone that doesn't have a lot of support for computing, you add an app which does all of that with the limited bandwidth that's available in the villages. And that technology would be robust. It also takes into consideration the nuanced language that the person would be speaking. So from Jonathan account, a person gets an SMS in English, you have money transfer from the government. The person does not even understand what exactly is happening. So if he speaks in his own language, nuanced Hindi, from Abdi, Bhojpuri, Bangari, and Ladakhi, and Khasi, all these languages, and the machine is able to translate from that nuanced local language to the standard variety. And the standard variety gets funneled into some translation process, and you get the translated output. So all of that has to be there, and the robust technology is for very diverse and nuanced India, where everybody is served. The last line in the row is served by technology. For example, new requirements on pre-processing, text normalization, multilinguality, multi-script capability, and rich language script. And also, I call it influenced script. For example, of influenced script, you're writing, I'm a bi-scripted person, I write two scripts. I'm writing a Devanagari, but I'm a Bengali person. So suddenly I bring in Bangla conventions into Devanagari. Like the British Matra, we have A, Devanagari Bangla will have a bar at the left. So that comes in for A. And you have a Devanagari script with Bangla conventions on it. So these are influenced scripts. It happens in India. Language is influenced, script is influenced, behavior is influenced, all of that is influenced. So for example, if I build a tool for the feature phone, which automatically captures data and stores data in the database. So a conventional DB language will be interfaced with mixed and nuanced natural language. So a person gives commands, speaks in natural language, which is always mixed, and then bootstrap the crawler. The command goes to a crawler, which crawls the data, and then automatically converts them as per the structure of the database and stores them in the database. So as I speak, my speech is stored in the database as per the part of speech category, right? So from speech to pre-annotated data, I should call it database. And then we use that data, which is almost pre-annotated, annotated data to train ML. So we need such data for text, speech, and gesture, all three. So unimodal, bimodal, and multimodal. How much approximately we need? There was a ballpark. I remember there was a discussion with some teams in CDAC in Noida sometime back when R.M. Sinha was living, and there were people from IBM, and so we did a rough calculation of how much data we need for each of the languages. So text data, video machine translation, we need approximately 100,000 sentences, parallel data. For speech, if you want a rough, very basic alpha version of the text to speech or ASR, we need approximately 50 hours, or 100 hours of annotated data. And gestures, we need at least 50 hours of data, video data. Basic minimum. Now, typical areas are many. Basically put in here three: education, judiciary, and heritage. I'll not go on details with all of them, given the time we have. So if you take a look at the education part, which concerns everybody, as you spoke about NEP 2020, and another time becoming a focus again, in India, and why I say focus again because it was always there. People studied in mother tongue. In an ashramas, I don't know, because there's no document available how people taught in ashramas. But it's quite possible that when students got into ashramas, the teacher spoke to them in the mother tongue. And they gradually switched to Sanskrit later on. So it would have been possible because India was Arunachal Pradesh to Iran and Tibet to Southeast Asia, huge country. So there would have been hundreds of others languages even then. And they were gradually, induced to Sanskrit, and which became the language of the education and administration. So, we need terminology for content, and for terminology, my commission is doing a good job. You heard from Ritaji. I'll not spend more time. We have done terminology for almost all 32 languages. And currently, we have digital initiatives in dictionary creation, dictionary research, export, import, and the plugins of browser, etc. Our Shalsa Pariyojana is going to be approved very soon, and will be involving you directly in the dictionary creation process. This is our AI application on dictionaries, so automatically scanning printed and written dictionaries and automatically translating multilingual dictionaries into multilingual. For example, we recently had a workshop in Tumpaville, Brevardine University, where we translated the political science Paribhasha course into 4 Brevardine languages. A very short time we were able to finalize them. Earlier, it would have taken months and years to get a language data into to finalize. Now we have some of our initiatives coming up. We'll be promoting research in lexicography, and we'll be hiring interns, 1 intern in each language, so that they can do the dictionary non-scheduled languages. Because the CSTD is the only mandate for the official vocabulary in India. If there's anybody else creating dictionary, that would be unofficial unless they get approved by us, right? So please understand that. And therefore, when CSTD does it, that becomes official. So we will have to create a dictionary for all non-scheduled languages. And if anybody else does it, that's a reduplication, that needs to be avoided. Right? Well, sometimes the reduplication is very good, in language is very good. It solves a lot of purposes. But duplicating with government funds is not good. Taxpayers' money is wasted, right? That is to avoid it at all costs. Well, I'm also a taxpayer, and as also government official, I'm also a taxpayer, right? And this is what I did. I myself wrote this program. Did not use any government money, 0 cost, right? So, do you have internet here? Yes. So, this is our shop education.in, and we launched that in March this year. And what is this number today? This number today. 80,486. March onwards. This is the hits that we get on this site. And this is perhaps the only site in government of India today which has interface in 32 languages. You do any interface, and when you do Kannada, and you have entire interface in Kannada, right? And then you can search your dictionaries, etc., etc. And how do we do it? We have all the strings from this site tagged. You know what? For example, this is the page, right? The landing page. It has different sections. All the sections are tagged with unique names. For example, this would be the tag for the main search box text. And then this goes as a query database, and you get the strings from many languages. This source. You don't translate on the fly. This is done as per the database, right? And you search in any word you search, or anything. And by the way, all the scientific and technical glossary, right? We do scientific and technical terms. Why this commission was created out of the Rashtrapati Adhyadesh. Adhyadesh is an emergency, right? So we have a constitutional mandate. It was carefully termed scientific and technical terminology commission. All the words are scientific. By technical, any word could be technical. When a word is used in dictionary, it becomes technical, right? Any word used in dictionary, even for simple complications, technical word. So no dictionary is non-technical. So all dictionaries are actually under our mandate. Our mandate is Hindi and Hindi or Anya Adhunik Bharati Bhasha. All Indian languages, right? And scientifically technical vocabulary. So that's a huge mandate. And last 63 years, we had 24 chairmen of the CSTD, and the 24 chairmen, In last 62 years, we did 267 dictionaries. Last 2 years, we have done 100 dictionaries. And 71 are on floor. So by the time I finish, we will do more than 300 more dictionaries in just 3 years' time. This is bootstrapping technology. You can't go on to do everything ab initio in the donkey method, where we start, meeting, doing DA, and nothing actually comes up. I don't speak as a government person. This will kill me, right? I'm wearing two hats. Right. So look at the you search in English word and you get words in Indian language. And you have Kannada also calls Kita. So Sanskrit words are predominantly there. More languages are using Sanskrit words. So the common uniform, whatever that means, we understand it is this common uniform method. The roots and the prefixes, suffixes, using the linguistic method in creating Shatavari, vocabulary. And that has been done in most Indian languages already. So you see inside Kita, etc. And what is the Punchi in Tamil? And if there's a non-Devanagari script, I convert that to Devanagari for my own reading. Now, if you do our ancient dictionary are engineering, for example, this is engineering, a word from engineering. And you have a so you have words for engineer in all our dictionaries. See this internet here.
Yeah, internet is proper.
Let me. Let me look up. I don't look up. You can search it on mobile if the site is still working. So if you search any word, let's go back to Kannada. I'm on my local host. So search any word or search engine. Administration here. So you get words in all 22 languages, and if you see the most of the words are still prasasan. But if you look at Malayalam, see Bharanam, Nirvahanam, Prasasanam. So more Gambhir Shabdavali. And you see Telugu, Palan, Panipalan, Vyavaharanam. And you see Kannada, and wrong translation, and Karyava. So and then you can actually do a complete sandarbha of the word here, and it comes with the all kinds of administration funds, etc. And then if you don't like the word, you give a feedback here, and the feedback will be tagged to that word in the dictionary. And the officer has to actually act on it. So I give the correct word and my email and name, and the word will be sent. And then I can actually log in and then see what feedback I can obtain. If you go and see the subject-wise entries here, so you get a lot of subjects here, and then you can browse through subjects. You see what I do. English. So subjects, glossary type, language pair. So we can see the language-wise numbers of dictionaries that are being searchable here. And if you click on the subjects here, you see all the subjects in one place. Then you can see all kinds of dictionaries that we have. All dictionaries are there. And you can click on any dictionary and get the words that we have. For example, let me turn on the engineering dictionary here. So done by the experts here on Karnataka. And if I don't understand the Kannada script, I'm going to transliterate it back to Devraj so that I can read it. And then below, so Viman is very commonly used. Viman as a higher engine. So I can read most of it if the script is changed, and then you can give feedback and so this word is not good. I got a very interesting feedback in Goa recently when I was there. The word was like half engine, and our translation was Tadarth Jovich for Kannada, for Konkani, and the person said that the standard would be Tadarth Nyayadhish. So I asked him to give feedback on our system, and I went back and changed the word to Tadarth Administration number 1 and number 2 Tadarth Jovich. So all of that feature is here, to check. And then based on the popularity of the hits and searches, we collect some dictionaries which have been more popularly searched. And you can directly go to those dictionaries. You can go to our medical dictionary, and go to our defense dictionary and see the words there. So the military, because one military in our defense dictionary will have a lot of correlations and the context. All the context will be there, and the translator can just pick and choose. They can pick the phrase here and paste it there. That would be, and this way your translation becomes official translation. If you're using dictionaries of terminologies from other dictionaries, the translation will not be considered official. And so technical vocabulary takes you through the textbooks, and we had a seminar yesterday, great initiative for writing textbooks, and the textbooks will lead to education. And the challenge is we have to have textbooks in 270 mother tongues, and we are currently engaged with 22 scheduled languages, and we have to do technology. Without technology, we can't do it. And we have our 21 Granth Academies, and all the companies yesterday, they like the work done by our Granth Academies. So many vice chancellors who were in the meeting yesterday, they said, we have grown up reading the Granth Academy books. And so their help has to be taken in creating the textbooks. So human effort is not alone. We have technology, and technology what? Two kinds of technology: education technology and language technology. Both will be critical for disseminating education in all Indian mother tongues. Number 2, judiciary. I'm skipping the judiciary. If you look at the domain of judiciary, we have these tens of subdomains of judiciary, and we have to have captured data for large language models as per the specific subdomain of the language to get more accuracy in prediction. And if you see the course, we do English and regional languages. In most of the course, we have 672 district courts, and most of the cases pending in India are from the district courts. And 25 high courts where English is the main language, and we have other languages also. So look at the pending situation: 3.5 crore cases pending. This is the data I have 2019 or 20. There'll be more because we have just 2,000 cases adding every day. Pending cases. So 30,000 cases are filed every day in India, 58,000 are heard, 2,000 get added. The pending cases. And 86% cases pending in district courts, because there are many languages used, nuanced languages. 3.8% cases pending in high courts, only 0.2% cases pending in Supreme Court. Language gets reduced, cases pending gets reduced also. So the courts are disposing more, but pendency has been rising. You will see 8.6% 2006 to 2018. High Court has 43 lakhs cases pending, and 8 lakh cases are decade old. So see, the people who may have filed the cases may have been dead already, right? And 58,669 cases pending in Supreme Court as of June 2019. So there are a lot of issues with judiciary, and one of them is poor technology support. And the government of India, 2005 onwards, has set up e-courts, and a lot of efforts have been there, but of course, most of the efforts are on paper, and they really don't translate into actually what is happening. We need smart data for capturing translation, cross-lingual, summarization, all that will be needed. And but new data is being created. As we are trying to handle the legacy data, new data is being added. And they'll be piling up, so we have to make sure that all new data is electronic only, and the legacy data is being handled through all these innovative means. But the problem is the manpower which has been hired by these courts to typists and all those, they are inefficient manpower. hired to process, and then they are actually as good as waste there. And therefore, no work is actually being handled for that. So, how to handle data for those languages? Some of that good technology for a nuance of the thing, where FIRs are being registered. An affected lady who has gone through Atyachar will come to register a case in police station, and she will speak in the nuance of the thing. And the police person will write in case in Hindi or Urdu, right? And there has been a loss on it, right? And then he assigns the acts which will be, applicable to the case. So there will be corruption. So how do you then enable that nuance of the into that person speaks? She speaks herself, and that is typed. And the acts are getting assigned automatically based on the keywords. See what I mean? So I am narrating the incident which happened to me, and it is typed automatically, and the acts are getting assigned automatically based on the keywords I spoke. If I spoke the keyword which is non-standard, it will translate to standard, right? So that kind of a startup culture, I mean, people have to register those kind of things. So recording and transcription, localization, all that will have to be there. And we create data, for example, Maghi data. We have a keyword or 100,000 keyword dictionary Maghi. We ask the informers to write sentences for each keyword. We have 100,000 sentences in Maghi. So there's no newspaper, no blog, no social media data. All of that will have to be there. And then two important things, comparable data. So now we build machine translation systems from parallel data. Can empty systems train on comparable data? What is comparable data? For example, the Wikipedia in English, Wikipedia in Hindi. It's an article in Wikipedia on India, the same article in Wikipedia on India, not by the same people, two different people, but they are basically on the same topic. They're comparable data. They're not necessarily parallel. Can machines get information how to translate from comparable data in this area? Let me tell you that. And that will be interesting. We have a lot of comparable data in India, but not necessarily parallel. So we create parallel data by translation. The old method, which is very expensive and laborious, and we need to have 6 more translators. So we have to do what is called zero translation method, zero methods, and we'll talk about that. And so we have to have translation guideline, and Narayanji was able to do our translation guideline for ILCA project. A very good document. And then, unless you have documents, people translate, people do data in their chaotic way, and that data becomes a legacy data, unusable. And then we have to, when we have data, we have to have methods of collection, and then we have to clean data, we have to identify domains and the subdomains. So, living quickly theory world could be subdomains, like agriculture domain will have these subdomains. And if you look at any domain, the literature could have these subdomains. Every data is technical. And then so you have to collect data in subdomains. And if you have data, then you can run program and create dictionaries out of the data. And then we need standards for data, metadata, storage, validation, all of that. And then standards in India are difficult to get. Only Carney's grammar was standards were respected in India. Other standards are not respected. And I remember many incidents where there was a discussion. The discussion is some European platform where it was in a kind of discussion that people did not like standards. But after they were convinced, after the kind of discussion, made to suggest we want a standard. So people initially don't like standards, but when they are convinced about it, they vote for it. So an example of a behavioral standard that Microsoft and us evolved in Bangalore, and then we apply that schema to Hindi. And one branch gets replicated, other branches would be sacrosanct. And so therefore we have a flexible standard of Bharati. And Bharati applies to all languages of Bharat. And in some languages it will be more rigid, in some languages it will be more flexible. For example, we apply the Paros scheme for a typical global language or not static language. There might be more deprecations in the branches down the order. And if you apply them to Indo-Aryan, there might be more, branches standing code. So all of that would be there, and you have to create annotated data. I'm hurrying up to finish quickly. So a lot of things, in terms of unimodal, bimodal, multimodal annotation schemes, source grade, fine grain, all of that. And when we annotate data, we annotate at the cost, chunk, sense. I'm talking about textual data, and we have an example of such data where we can actually go through all that. So the same sentence can be tagged with tiers, and tiers. You add a purest tier, then you add the identity tier, then you add the sense tier, then you add the chunk, then you add the sentence tagging, discourse tagging. So textually, you can keep on adding tiers. And you don't add all the tiers yourself. You add one tier, then export data to some other format. For example, the ILCA data can be exported to typegraph of NTNU in Norway. And they add it here, they can export data to University of Florence, what I was interested in, and then they can add the data specifically to tag the word phrases to train the robots. You have to train robots to understand actions, right? So you have to tag the word phrases. So all of that could be done by different trained groups, and data then comes back to you with added tiers. So it has to be a coordinated effort by different groups. And then there'll be guidelines that go into that and how the gold data set actually looks like. So very quickly, so if I do a Sanskrit tag set, this could be a Sanskrit tag set on a server. So so basically, how do you create a tag set? I'm not going to go into details of that, and how the data set will actually look like. So, and then you have to have interface. So let me give an example of this Sanskrit data tag as per our own tag set done at JNU, which goes down to the to the morphology, and so all of that will look like that. And then you train a little bit, bootstrap, and finally you have a tagger which can actually do all that. And then this same data can be trained tagged using Microsoft's recent tag set that we did. That will look like that. And then you have to have a typing interface where something like that can happen. And so let me go to Kannada. This was done by CDAC Bangalore. So I can basically look at any data, and there's a team basically creating data everywhere, and that team will be responsible for annotating data, creating data, and then it comes to a group where you can validate data and all of that. So I can do this Kannada data, and then select a UD file and just get the Kannada file. Let's see how the Kannada data. And so whatever that is in Kannada, and was sacked by our group at CDAC Bangalore. And then there'll be all of that entire interface where you can manage data, version it, and then export it as XML, and then create images and searches. All of that part of the same interface. If you don't have your interface, your data server, the data will be stolen by people. If you, for example, write data, create data in Excel sheet and send it by email, data is gone because email will be some agent, some server, email will be stored. So I created my own server called Sanskrit and JDU, and all consortia actually were working on that server. Manpower is a tricky thing, and the problems of manpower. Because you train manpower, you stop funding there because the project was not supported next year, and there was some government problem. Election was declared, Aadhar Samhita lagu ho gaya, and things like that. So this happened very quickly, and we had to do automation and bootstrapping, and basically you collect some data, do bootstrapping. For example, Tamil was a curious case in our project. Tamil was lagging behind the Tanjore University. So what we did, data tag was used to train automatic tagger. Then we ran that tagger on the rest of Tamil data, tagged the data, gave it to Tamil group, we could look at it, and then they get it back to us. So this is called automation and bootstrapping. Funding is, of course, very, very critical, and you have to have many groups to fund that. And some examples how to resolve funding issue. I'll not go into that in pretty short time. Data sharing is a good thing to do. And there are a lot of data sharing models. As I mentioned, that you can automatically export data successively in their various platforms. They add it here, give it back to us, all of that. And without annotation, no good LLM can be done. Remember, it has to be a good quality LLM with a lot of annotation data. Either you annotate directly or you provide language, features, properties. Starting big projects. And finally, when you have all this basic results done, you start thinking of making a lot of LLM. And LLM requires huge amounts of data, and properties. You have to choose, pick and choose one of the existing algorithms. There are 450,000 LLMs trained. You can choose one LLM which suits your task. You can't have an LLM which does everything in the language, on all with equal efficiency. That's not possible. You have to have a LLM for translation, something like that. So and you choose, and then you collect the data. You get a rough calculation of how much of data will be needed for example, a Sanskrit LLM. And we thought that if we start with 2 billion words sample for Sanskrit LLM, how to construct 2 billion words in Sanskrit? If you take the entire Sanskrit corpus from Rig Veda down to this time, you can't get 2 billion words. We pride so much in the Sanskrit corpus that we have. If you do rough calculation, you can't get 2 billion words. So we had to synthesize words. So you have a normal data, synthetic data. How do you get synthetic data? You have a grammar or two, they give you 2,000 words of Sanskrit, and then you run it. It runs overnight and it creates a lot of data for you. So such kinds of data will have to be created, natural synthetic data, and then you actually are able to train the system. After you have trained the language model, you have to have a lot of associated tools, the speech tools, which will accept speech tools, and then transliterate that to the language, and then the language will search, and then the response mechanism. So a lot of other tools will have to be done for that language pair, for that language, and then you can actually get an LLM for your tasks. And remember, there's no LLM who solves all the problems. LLMs answer queries, they don't solve problems, right? Because the problems cannot be solved, problems will be more complicated. If you believe in the answers given by most LLMs, so answers will not be solutions, they'll be only answers. So you have to have LLMs to actually solve problems in India. India is a diverse country, and it needs solutions. It needs solutions from AI, Gen AI, and we need to create AI accordingly. Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope I can present.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful lecture on big linguistic data and language large model. Now we can take 3 quick questions if anybody has question for sir. Now I would like to request okay, now let's move on to the next section. Now I would like to request our director, sir, to present our chief guest with a memento. I would like to request the memento to be
This one. So sorry.
now I would like to request everyone to go out. Tea is served outside. And please come back here after 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes, please.
So we will have structure by
सबको मिल के कोई कमेंट नहीं किया
I would like to request Colonel Yuka to stay with us. His lecture will be delivered after 15 minutes of the teacher.
सबको मिल के कोई कमेंट नहीं किया
Yeah, start.
I request everyone who are outside to please come inside. We will start our remaining program. I request everyone to please come inside. Okay, we will begin. Our sir is already waiting for us online. We'll begin the program. Now we have our second speaker, which is our guest of honor. We are happy to have with us Foreign Yuvraj Malik, who is our guest of honors for today's program. Although he could not be with us here, but he is ready to give his lecture online for celebrating with us this 56th Foundation Day. Before I hand over to Sir, I would like to give a brief introduction about Sir. Colonel Yuvraj Malik is the director of National Book Trust India. He is on National Book Trust of India on deputation from the Indian Army. Shri Malik has served with Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Home Affairs, Raj Bhavan, Jammu and Kashmir, United Nations missions in Africa, and several operational areas in administrative and operational assignments. He has also been the chairman of Commission for Scientific and Technical Technology. Sir, I would request you to give your lecture on knowledge takes in Indian languages from production to distribution. Thank you, sir, for joining with us. I will give the time to you.
Sir, we cannot hear you. I think you are mute.
Namaskar, Jai Hind. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. First of all, good morning to all of you and respected Chairman CSTT, Professor Jha, dynamic leader and director of CIIL, the team CIIL members, esteemed faculties, academicians, and staff members of the institute. I congratulate each one of you on this fantastic day of laying the foundation day of CIIL. I congratulate each one of you on this 56th Foundation Day and a wonderful journey that the institution has under various leadership, and today under leadership of Professor Shailendra Mohan. I'm sure where you are, it will take a new leap and set up new benchmark of success, competence, and contribution. What is the meaning of Foundation Day? That is a very important question. We do celebrate our birthdays in home. We do celebrate our anniversaries. But when it is about Foundation Day of an institution, it's a very, very important day. It's a day of introspection, which says why we were founded, what was the mandate, where we are today, and where we have to go. It's a complete 360-degree assessment of our entire team, their effort, their contribution, and laying the roadmap for another 5, 10, 20, 30 years. When I look back on the role of CIIL, first of all, we should be very, very clear what is our mandate. And I'm sure everyone knows it, but I look at it slightly with a different perspective. CIIL is like NBT, CSTT. We are taken like we produce books, literature, content. Of course, we do that. But the mandate is much bigger than. We are just not printers or publishers or content creators. We are a very, very important institutions of nation building. Why I'm saying it primarily for two reasons. We just don't create a product which is fast moving like eatables, juices, milk. We are not producing fast moving consumer products. We are producing a product which is knowledge driven, which is knowledge based, economy driven. So when we are creating a knowledge product, the impact of this kind of product takes at least 5 to 10 years to show its results. Number one. Number two, we are going to shape the neurons of the society. We are going to shape the mindset of the country. We are going to give a new direction to the thoughts of the nation with our content, and especially with the power of language. CIL has done a fantastic job in last 5 decades, which is phenomenal. There's no match to it. And if I have to really give some compliments, I will only say the efforts of CIL can be counted in terms of the multilingual celebration that we have is primarily because of the institutions which we are having like CIL. We must understand whenever there is a language, there is a culture. And whenever there is a culture, there is a language attached to it. And in case of India, it's a multilingual culture and multilingual fabric that is binding it. Officially, we are having 22 languages in our schedule. English is another 23rd language which we have very popular in India. With this much of linguistic diversity, more than 200 languages and dialects very prominently spoken, more than 1,000 languages already present all across the country in different zones. So that is a kind of linguistic diversity which we have. So institutions like CIL, which have been working tirelessly to promote art, literature, culture through the linguistic fabric and promotion of languages, enriching them with their various schemes, policies, and initiatives, and especially by providing quality content. Overall, if you look at this complete fabric of celebrating multilingualism in India, there are many challenges to it. As the topic has been from creating knowledge text and then from production till distribution, how we do look about it. Most important thing is that there is no dearth of books, publishing material, and content in the market. How we are different? There's a shortage of quality content. The quality word is missing. And that's where institutions like CIL, CSTT, NBT, NCRT, CBSE, they come into play because they are the benchmark of quality content. And that's what makes them special. CIL has an expertise of working with different languages and especially the kind of Bharatvani, National Translation Mission and other projects which they are doing and content they are creating. That is fantastic. We must understand the complete process of content creation from production till distribution. The first idea is how to get the content. There are a variety of content available now. One is doing the original content. That starts with an idea what kind of book we have to produce, what kind of literature we have to produce. There are other kind of content that we generate through the power of translation. That is second. Third, the content which we create by combination of both. The already existing content is reformatted with some value addition. That is another kind of thing. And most importantly, when we are having an idea what we have to bring, in what shape we bring out. A physical format, the printing format, or some other kind of format. That is another question we have to understand. While working this content issue, when we are deciding, we have to be very, very clear where is our target. In ecosystem of publishing and content, there are 3 stakeholders. We are sitting in center of it. One is author. Who is going to write the content? Who is going to create the content? Second is the consumer, the reader, the person who is going to utilize that knowledge, that book or that content. And in between, there is a publisher. There are various agencies. There are various steps involved in that process of production to distribution. So at each stage, we have to do a very big dissection and understand what are the opportunities and what are the challenges that we must work. While working with NBT, what I have understood is when things go wrong, go back to the basics. If you go back to the basics, you'll find the problem areas. If you find the problem area, you have the answer, you have the solutions. Only thing, you have to put the right things at the right places. So first thing is know your job, which you already know. Second is know your product, which you know. Third is know your people, that also you know. So connect all 3 of them in a single line assembly concept, and then you will be able to achieve the desired result which you want. In terms of marketing strategy, if I have to give you something like what should be your formula, I will say follow 5P. First is product. Be very, very clear about your product. What kind of content, what kind of learning material, what kind of translation project, whatever you are going to do, what is that product? So you have to be very thorough about your product. Second is prices. You have to be very clear what price you are going to offer to it, how market is going to take it. You cannot offer an exorbitant price where nobody is going to take it, nor you can put it in a price where you can't afford to provide in volume. So you have to have a balance of it with sustainability. Another point is place. Where are you going to place this product? Where is your market? Who's going to consume? That has to be very, very clear. I'll cover up them in detail also. Then comes, you have a good product which you have created, you have put up a price to it, you have done a place study, where is your market, but how do you promote it? That promotion strategy should also be very, very clear. How do we do it? That I'll share with you. And lastly, the people. From the very stage, the moment you decide to write content, that stage till the time it goes into the hand of a user, there are people involved at every stage. You have to understand their strength, their weaknesses, their opportunities, their threats. This SWOT analysis has to be done. And at each stage, you have to create capacity building program for these people so that you are able to actually achieve the final mandate of your job. So putting these 5 people, we are able to achieve the desired outcome of market-driven strategy. If you look back 3 years when COVID happened and now, the publishing scenario had changed. Have a given an idea what kind of publishing market we have? I'll give you some statistics which will help you to understand what is the opportunity and where we are, what we can do about it. Nielsen has carried out a survey which says that Indian publishing is 1 lakh crore in 2024 end. So in 2025 January, we can proudly say that we are a market of 1 lakh crore. How much stake we have in that? We have to think about it. We have introduced world largest education reform. We are expecting our GER enrollment ratio to increase from 27% to 2030 up to 50%. That means almost double. So that means almost double number of people in the higher education we are expecting. Then we have more than 1,200 universities all across the country. We have more than 10 lakh schools. We have more than 500 IIT, IIM, NIT and premier institutions. Overall, 33 to 35 crore students. Multiplied by 1,000 rupees per child, they are spending only on books or content. The bare dry market basis minimum 35,000 crore every year. Then there is a trade market where people are reading books and supplementary content. So you can easily perceive in what pace our industry is growing. Let me be honestly confess with you, publishing is the fastest growing industry today in India. Because one, we have a very large education base, which is academic. Secondly, we have multilingual fabric. Every content has an opportunity to be translated into multiple languages. So when I was saying we have to choose the content, we have to confess and accept the limitation of producing quality content at a constant space, which is not possible. In that, the area of collaboration starts. You can borrow content from one language, one institution, one publisher, or one organization, and bring them into other languages through the power of translation. And that is your core strength area, where you can play a very big role by bringing quality literature and study material from one language to another. As morning it has been discussed, I will not elaborate more, the role of languages in NAP implementation. We should be very, very clear. Language as a medium of instruction or language as a medium of communication. So when we say medium of instruction, there's a different kind of market that we have to tap. But when we say medium of communication, many of us has different language of instruction and different language of communication. So when we go for reading books, supplementary reading, we go with medium of communication. When we go with knowledge concept, we go with medium of instruction. And 3-language formula promotes a very wide opportunity for CIL and other institutions to do and deliver a fantastic job. CSTD has done a fantastic job by converting and creating vocabulary in different languages. It gives standardization to the language. So what standardization parameters CSTD is giving, CIL is implementing them, and we are also following those benchmarks. So collectively, all of us are working in unidirectional way. We are working in only one objective with different tools and different marketing strategy. What CIL can do at this stage is work and focus on translations. They have a core competence in that and link it with market-driven economy. We have to understand the reading pattern of the society. What country is reading? What youth are reading? What our generation is reading? There is one more grassroots market which nobody has thought. When we talk about promotion of languages, how do we look at it? Are we going to create more people speaking language? Yes. Are we going to create more tutors, academicians? Yes. Scholars? Yes. Experts? Yes. Then teaching faculty? Yes. But where does it start? It starts the moment we start expressing. at the childhood, ECCE learning. And that first layer of ECC learning is Anganwadi. This is where we should play an important role collaboratively, that we go to the Anganwadi and create quality content for them so that we can take it to the market and we can provide them in the language they understand. Because this language which they are learning now is going to be their mother tongue, regional tongue, local tongue, whatever you call it. And then their further medium of instruction in school and colleges. If we are doing that, I'm sure I've seen the quality work, the kind of children book sale has produced, they are fantastic. But if we can go one layer down the chain, we have still a very wide base of more than 10 lakh Anganwadis that are looking for content in regional languages. So this is where we can find the more areas of cooperation. Another point which I must bring is publishers and printer. There's a very thin line. We are not just printer or normal publishers. We have a very high sense of accountability. People refer to us. We are used as a reference. We are used as a benchmark. So anything and everything coming to us from our authors should not be published. And that is a big challenge in this industry. To fulfill the demand of quality content, we are going quantity content. We are publishing. When I say publishing, we means the complete publishing industry. We are publishing it without looking at it, without going into detail of it and micro observations, and the content is going in a different direction. For example, in a child, there's one initiative that you can add of which we did here, the psychological audit of the book for children. When we are creating books for children, we have to be very, very collaborative to understand that there's a fine difference between aggression and violence. Are our books going to create that scientific temperament or superstitions? Are we going to create constitutional values or anarchy? The kind of messaging, the kind of stories, the kind of learning, the kind of values we are going to generate and imbibe into our knowledge or our books, our children are going to absorb them, and later on that is going to reflect into their behavior. So when I go back, I say we are not mere publishers, we are nation builders. I'm saying it because we are going to shape the mindset of the society, mindset of the younger generation who are going to take our place in the leadership role. If they are groomed well, given a good intellectual right, good intellectual pedigree, I'm sure they will not become voters, they will become citizens of this country who will talk about their duties first and rights later on. That is the kind of role we can play with our knowledge and content. The moment we have this content, now we are going into different jobs, whether it's typesetting, layout, designing, then producing, then taking it to the reviewers. From editor, it goes to the market. From market, it goes to the supply chain rule. It goes to e-commerce platforms. But what is the strategy we follow? Classic strategy is create the content, print it, put into the stocks, and then go for promotions. No. Rules have changed. Now digital first. When you have created the content, first create the digital copy of it. Brought into the market first, see the response. When you see the response, then you decide the number of copies you want to print. The problem with printing is if you print large volume of books, they are in stocks. One, there's a problem of storage. You are spending much more on their storage. You cannot destroy them. Then their actual cost, which you will recover after selling. Number one. Number two, number of copies you are going to print are going to have a cascading effect on your supply chain management. After 1 year or 2 years, the shelf life is going to be half. Third, the point of delivery and point of production are far off. How you are going to link with that? So you have to really integrate with all possible e-commerce platforms. Today you have launched your online bookstore. I'm sure you must be working for your app store also, where you can go and put your things on app. Why I'm saying it? There was an era when books were purchased only in physical. Then there is an era that people started buying outrightly for e-books. Now they not buying e-books just like that. The pattern has changed. Then it was per download. You download, there's a one entry, this one download is applicable to you. Now we have gone one step ahead of it. It is not applicable to download. When you download, you don't subscribe to the money. You download, you read, and when you read 20%, then only you are liable to pay for that amount of downloading. Then only you are supposed to be considered that you have purchased the book. So that is a kind of competitiveness that has come with the use of AI. So AI is the new force multiplier which we have to understand. It has its own negative fallouts also, because at the same time, there's a dummy character. There's a dummy content. Are we careful about it? Are we going to use as a strength, or are we going to use as a weakness? That we have to be very, very careful while designing our product and using technology. CIL has a very critical role in pedagogy also, about language learning, about language promotion and enrichment. In that, when we are talking, we should have modules. Why I'm talking about is, when you go abroad, there's a very big Indian diaspora in each country and language specific. Go to Arabic country, you'll find a lot of Malayalam speaking people there. You go to European country, you'll find a lot of Punjabi speaking people, Marathi speaking people, Gujarati speaking people. So when they go there, they look for Gujarati tutors, Gujarati content, Gujarati books, but they're not getting. So we have to understand the market and produce content in such a way that when we are hitting the international market for promotion of books, especially a National Book Trust, you can give us the content, we can promote it and connect to the right kind of consumer, and that kind of production can be done. Either we can create availability of content online, or we can create physical. That is a separate module. But first we have to find the consumer for that. And there's a ready-made market available globally in different languages. We just need to find out children module, because all these people who have migrated from India, temporarily or permanently, want their kids and generation to learn about their own values, their own history, their own languages. They want them to speak their mother tongue, but they don't have adequate content on that. So these kind of language modules, which we develop, we create small chapters, and online facilities can be developed. It can make big revolutions globally. That's what I have learned over a period of time working with these organizations. Because when we go, they want the same content in English into their regional languages. And that's what NBT has developed a lot of content in UN languages, especially French, Spanish, and Arabic. Another point which I really want to work and want CIL to just think over it. In couple of book fairs, when we do all across the country, we promote these books. We have done a lot of festivals like Kashi Tamil. We have done fantastic translation work on Triklur and all kind of books. It is superb, but it should reach to the audience. How to fill that gap? So that's what the role of collaboration comes into play. We should look for collaboration, whether it's public, whether it's private, whether it's NGO, government. We should not hesitate, because unless and until we touch all the bases, we will not be able to fulfill our mandate of taking content to the grassroots. So collaboration with states, that's what we can start with. CIL can think of expanding its market base, collaborating with various SCRTs, various Samarth Shiksha Abhiyans, Anganwadis, and book fairs in different kind of states. And collaboratively, we can join hands together to actually do a great service to the nation by strengthening the multilingual fabric that we always feel proud of. Another thing is capacity building programs. The books are produced, they are produced in good quality, good content, but there's a requirement of putting capacity building at each stage. For example, there's a translator. How we can do capacity building of the translator? There's a desktop printing jobs, typesetting job, marketing job, logistic job. We must have these internship programs, which I'm willing to open my office to anyone who wants to come and learn and do some internship with us, so that they can learn what good we are doing. Similarly, I'll be happy to come myself to CIL, do an internship with you for 4 days, 5 days, and learn what best I can learn and implement in NBT, what best I can give back to you, and what best together we can come together. Because we are under same organization, we are under same ministry, we have same mandate, we have same set of values, we have same kind of, financial compliances. So when that kind of thing, if we come together, all these organizations, and create something bigger that can create huge impact in the society, and especially the academic ecosystem. So that is what we should be very open about it, because when I opened my office for IITians, NIT, NIFT, they started coming. They gave me new ideas. How we can innovate cover designing of books. How we can create selfies points. How we can curate new cover pages. How we can make new kind of time setting. How we can come up new kind of content creation. How stories can be written with modern outlook with use of AI. So all these people are modern people. They have more skill set. Only we need to listen to them with patience and integrate their capacity of modern thinking with our experience. We can put our experience and their skills together and create a much better product for the new generation and new era. That's what I have been working on it. Then another important point which I think we must understand, please understand the reading pattern of the society. There was an era when students were reading 5 pages, 10 pages, 20 pages in a row, in a go at one point of time. Today, the attention span has reduced from 30 to 35 seconds. That is a real culture. A child who's reading 5 pages, but he is only able to concentrate at one stretch for 30 to 35 seconds. That means 70 to 75 words. That means one odd para or two odd para. Then he loses the concentration. Again, he gets back. What to do with that? We have to innovate our printing and publishing yardsticks. For example, for young child, we use a font size of 10, 12 at 14. No, if you want a child to concentrate, you have to make the font size on a bigger scale and with wide gap between two lines. I'm sure for 0, 1, 2, 3 early books, we are doing it. But this is the problem which we are facing in the new generation also, because they are losing concentration. So somehow you have to make the content look light, easy and digestible. That's what one part of it. Then there's a culture of growing demand for graphic book, illustration books, silent books, that we must think on. We collaborated with Ministry of Social Justice for concept as books for all. Into all our book fair, they are putting up a stall. Anyone who is differently able can register with that ID number, and we give them 2 books free of cost of their choice. Similarly, there's a shortage of content in regional languages. Of course, Hindi, English, Braille books we are producing. But what about other languages? There's a growing market in that, and very vast pool is there which remains unaddressed. Similarly, audiobooks. We have all books content, but how to convert them into regional languages? Where are those audio converters? Where are those translators? So this is how different organizations with different set of skills and competence, if they collaborate, cooperate, and coordinate, I'm sure they can come up with better quality knowledge products. Another point which I feel in this distribution market, which there's a vacuum which we can fill, integrating toy learning with languages. We have been using toys which are not relevant to our culture, and we have been using stories which are totally not linked with our culture. We are using names which are not linked to our culture. So these minor modifications of using nomenclatures, those dresses, those cultures, those kind of toys that we really use, they should have similarity. There should be a flow line of thought in that. That's what is very, very important, and especially in the child segment. We can really learn from CIL. CIL has good understanding about regional languages, and they can do capacity building, and we can create more content in regional languages, especially in ECC with toy integrated learning. One more thing that I feel we should really look at is PPP model. For example, we collaborated with some of the corporates for CSR. In CSR, they have done a collaboration to produce XYZ number of books. And in single book fair, we have distributed more than 1 lakh book. Overall, we have distributed more than 3 lakh book in CSR. The CSR organization, the corporates, those who want to spend money in terms of books, we give vouchers to the students and teachers who come. They come and they buy books from the book fair, or they choose a particular book. We produce that, give it to them, and then they are distributed all the students. It gives 3 things. 1, we promote language. 2, we promote culture. 3, we promote the culture of book reading. And most importantly, we are able to bring child out to a new world and see how big is the intellectual world, how much he has to learn, what all he can do. And I'm sure he can come and get a book which can change his life. These are some of the aspects which we must think of. If I sum up the entire process, 1, data is a new currency. So we have to be very, very smart with our data so that we can take quick and balanced decisions. Our decisions can go absolutely in a positive direction if we analyze the data well, and it can also go absolutely negative direction if we don't pay attention to our data management. Second is the power of translation. Today, our Vedas, scriptures, they have gone to entire Europe. How did they reach there? That was the power of translation. We should not underestimate it. So translation is the best way to create more and more quality content and into different languages and create the very strong foundation of a knowledge-based society. Another important point is when we are working on knowledge content creation, data is the most important key. Information is the new knowledge. Information means what is going to happen. For example, when NEP was being launched, we knew there's a requirement of multilingual books. So we were the first one to start working in that direction, and we produced very big amount of bilingual books which we had. We converted all languages, and there was an immediate demand for that market, and that was the most hot selling product for 2022 and 23 when NEP was launched and bilingual books and trilingual books were produced. There is another market which is totally unaddressed. We have a large number of dialects. We have a large number of tribal languages. So that is where we should go, produce content in those languages and those dialects so that we can fulfill the demand of those students who are in those backward areas, deprived areas, or areas which are not very well connected. So the ability to produce in regional and far regional and local languages will give us another opportunity in this distribution and production model. Then again, when you go wrong, go back 5P. Remember what is your product, analyze it and dilute and just do micromanagement on that. Remember its pricing policy. You have to create quality product, make it accessible for all, and ensure that it has affordability. If you violate any of these three fundamental principles of quality, affordability, and accessibility, I'm quite sure that you will not be able to achieve your objective of either producing quality content or delivering to the right corridors. And then we should have a very clear-cut promotional strategy. 360-degree module. Print in a different way, digital in a different way, and use social media for its promotions. And lastly, people. Artificial intelligence can be the most powerful tool today, no doubt about it. But it has been created by a human being. So always human intelligence will be far more superior than artificial intelligence. So please invest in people, invest in capacity building, use AI as a force multiplier, not as a force. It should endeavor to promote our capacities, not take our capacities. And this integration of AI into various programs, distribution, marketing models. For example, a person is reading and accessing particular content. You can easily detect his reading behavior. You can suppose, propose, and suggest new kind of reading content. That is the power of AI. So all these modern apps, all these modern access tools, e-commerce platform, they are using AI to understand the consumer behavior. Another point is the area for exploration in pedagogy. You have great set of content with you. You have great capacity, good team of research scholars, academicians, and pedagogy experts. We should be able to come up new pedagogy tools and disseminate to our academic fraternity, especially the school teachers and young teachers, and then integrate storytelling as part of learning. So we should be able to curate those kind of stories in those languages where they are relevant so that they become part of our academic learning and also transfer of values. Last point, without taking much of deviation, I will just say, first, we should feel proud the kind of work we are doing. We are the silent players of nation building. We are just not publisher or commercial entities. You cannot be. We have a very big mandate. We have a huge responsibility, and we cannot afford to produce average. No, average is over. That era is over when we are producing substandard or kuch bhi chalta attitude. That era has gone. Everything you put in public domain is being scrutinized from all directions with different set of people, different set of opinions. So what we produce, we should have absolute responsibility for the quality content. So quality content will always be the final key. Second, you have to have a complete 360-degree plan from the point of moment when you start thinking of producing a book or publishing material till the time it goes into the hand of the consumer. And not only consumer, you should also be able to get the feedback on your product. Unless and until you do that, we always feel that this was a very good product and we produce it and feel self-satisfied. No, unless and until it is addressing the need of the society, there is something missing that we need to fill the gap. Third, this is an era of collaboration. Do not hesitate to collaborate with anybody whosoever coming with a clean intent. We must find new areas of cooperation. We must find new collaborations, whether it's public-private partnership, whether it's government-to-government collaboration, whether it's government to civil society. We must find those space and find these platforms for better capacity building programs. And lastly, most importantly, is people. We must invest in people, whether educating them, whether giving them the capacity, whether giving them the new dimensions, exposures, and use technology for your force. Technology is something that can make your efforts look like a giant. We can reach to home with the power of technology through the power of social media. A complete 360 branding marketing strategy is required, wherein you are able to tell what you can read, what you can suggest, and that's where we can use our products for creating a society that has sound values, bigger culture, and most importantly, they are going to produce very responsible citizens. And at the same time, I once again congratulate CIL for a fantastic contribution in nation building, amazing contribution in promotion of our languages, strengthening the fabric of multilingual India. And that's what makes us different. The entire world believes celebrating unity through uniformity, and India is the only country that celebrates unity through diversity, unity through different multilingual fabric. And that's where you are not promoting only the languages, you are not only promoting the content, you are promoting Indian values, you are promoting culture, you are promoting our civilization. And that's where unsung heroes like CIL, CSTT, they have a role to play, because they are the foundation of education ecosystem. And I'm very confident, because I have been in CSTT also, I am in NBT also, I have been part of NEP processing also. I can tell you NEP cannot be implemented without a solid contribution by these institutions, and especially CIL. And language prosperity of India is, I feel, the flag that CIA is holding and making wonderful contributions. Wherever they have gone, we are there to support your initiative in promoting this cause. I wish you, the entire team, congratulate each one of you for your remarkable contribution for last almost 56 years. A great job being done, and I'm sure new targets will take you to new heights. It's my unfortunate part I could not come in person and visit the campus. I had committed because of some urgent meetings in Delhi, but I assure I'll soon visit the campus, learn from your good practices, and I'll be happy to work and spend 1 or 2 days to learn good things which I can learn from CIL and implement in NBT, because I have seen your work, I have seen your content, I have seen your endeavors. There's a lot to learn from you, and that's what the country is also there. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak and communicate on this wonderful day. All the best, and sky is the limit. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your insightful talk on how to enhance quality content in publishing and make us understand how to produce and distribute the same. I thank you for your time, for being with us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now nearing to the conclusion of this program. Before we do draw to a close, I would like to invite Dr. Sujoy Sarkar, Officer in Charge and LGRO CIF, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Gami. Namaskar, good morning. This is the last part of the program. So, this time we did the program in Loki due to a certain reason. The program organizing committee decided to let us keep it Loki. We don't have much elaborated program this year. However, on behalf of Central Institute of Indian Languages, first of all, I would like to thank the Honorable Joint Secretary, Nita Prasad ma'am, for joining with us. Thank you, ma'am, for always being support for the institute. Thank you, Professor Krishna Jasal, my teacher from JNU and Chairman CSTT. Sir, we are aware that you are busy with multiple activity, but you somehow managed to visit CIL. Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Yuvraj Malik sir. Despite your several other commitments, you joined with us online, and I hope soon you will visit our center in person. My colleague Professor Umarani, who is one of the key support for organizing this program. Thank you, ma'am. Professor Fernandez sir, thank you for all your suggestion and support. my colleague Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Narayan, Dr. Tariq, Dr. Alindra, Prem. Thank you for all the support and suggestion. As it was organized in very short time, they supported in multiple ways. Thank you, thank you. All the scholars and staff from different projects, team centers, thank you. Thank you for joining with us. We know it's a gazetted holiday, but you joined with us in this occasion of celebration of 56th Foundation Day of CIL. Thank you. The technical team, supporting staff, and other supporting staff from different section. Thank you for supporting us in different capacities. Thank you, Talwar sir, project director, Classical Kannada. Thank you, sir, for joining. And other colleague who joined online and the scholars, thank you for joining with us for this short program in online. Media fraternity to join with us for covering this program. Thank you for covering this program. And Gami, thank you for wonderfully managing this program. Last but not the least, definitely Honorable Director Sir, Professor Shailen Mohan sir, thank you for all the support and suggestions. And my sincere apologies if I missed anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Sir, for the vote of hands. We have come to an end of the inaugural program. With this, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your participation and contribution in making this session a successful one. I hope this has been a productive and engaging experience. May this hall stand witness to many more years of learning and exploration in linguistics, and may this great institution make many more valuable contributions to the future and culture of the nation. Thank you. I request everyone to go to IGH for lunch. Yes.